silent, silent. Purchase your tracks today.
Salut à tous, c'est Malaika. So today I am with my mom. Please present yourself.
Hi everyone who's on Malaika's channel. I'm Malaika's mom. My name is Julia Oyolo. A wife, a mother of 3, Malaika being the first, and 2 boys, Titi and Ivan. A project manager, and I love the Lord above all, and I'm delighted to be here.
I have some few questions you'll be answering. So the first is, what is your biggest fear? What was your biggest fear about having children?
My biggest fear about having children was, one, the story that everybody tells you that having children, the process is painful, it's hard. So I used to think, oh man, I want to go through that. My second fear about having children was, will I be a good mom? I think that's the big question that I always had, that yes, I would love to have children, but will I be a good mom?
The question is, were there any similarities between me and you as a child?
Interesting. I think maybe one of the similarities is playfulness. I think I loved to play when I was younger, and I saw that in you. You were very playful. Not just when you were alone before your brother came, but also with your brother. You were very playful. As much as you're outgoing, that you were reserved a bit like mom. Yeah, I was a bit reserved even growing up, shy. Yeah, so I'd say those are some of the similarities.
And also that we can say that we look alike.
Yes, we do look alike, so people say that I have a photocopy. Yes.
What's your favorite memory of us?
Us being you and me, or us, me and you and Didi and Ethan?
Us, me and you.
My favorite memory is, the first one is bringing you home from the hospital. And then getting to spend time talking. I like when we spend time talking, not just about things that are happening every day, but I mean, that's interesting, but also when we have those deep conversations about life. Or when we have to get to do girl things like shopping. Yeah, those are my favorite times.
What accomplishments are you proudest of?
My family. I'm proud of each one of you. I'm proud of seeing how you're developing into a responsible, beautiful young lady who knows what she wants, and a go-getter who doesn't stop getting discouraged by some of the few things that might happen, but learning to pick yourself up and to move on. Yeah, so what was the question again?
What accomplishments are you proudest of?
Yeah, you guys. I'm proud of each one of you in your own unique way. It's made me proud.
So now it's time for the testimony.
Which testimony?
So the testimony of having kids, of having me.
Oh. So my testimony of becoming a mom was quite challenging. And I guess everybody has their own journey into motherhood. Mine was quite painful and very sad. But one thing I know is that as the word of God reminds us, that weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. And so when I met Malaika's dad, and we got married and we started trying to have kids, I had a series of miscarriages. 4. I had 4 miscarriages before I had Malaika. And so the journey to having Malaika was quite a tedious one. Not tedious. It was tedious in the fact that we had to go the first 3 months every week to the doctor's place to have injections, because there were threats of having another miscarriage. And so every week for 12 weeks I had to go in and get an injection. And then after that, the pregnancy stabilized and we looked forward to having our first child. And so the D-Day arrived, everything went well, and then when Malaika was born, and she didn't cry. Normally when a baby is born, they usually do the usual tap on the back and the cleaning, but to check if the baby's gonna cry, but Malaika didn't cry. And so when they were investigating why she hasn't cried, they found out that she was born with, she didn't have the trachea, it wasn't complete. And as a result of that, she had to go in for surgery within 24 hours of being born. And I even marvel at how God gave us the name Malaika, because indeed he has actually given us an angel. So she went through the first operation and it was successful. They managed to restitch the trachea. However, she was in ICU for some time and they were hoping that they would be able to wean her off the ventilator and she'd be able to breathe on her own. But unfortunately that didn't happen and she began to deteriorate and she just kept getting worse. And the doctors came in again, and you know, when a doctor tells you if you pray, pray, because yes, we're going to take her in for another surgery, but we can only do what we can do as doctors, but pray and let God do the rest. And so they took her in to another surgery. That was 2 weeks after the first surgery, and it was a very long surgery. I can't remember the number of hours, but the waiting time seemed like forever. And I remember it was a very sad time for us and our family. Her grandparents were very sad and we were all at the hospital and we were praying that everything would work well. And then after that, it was a wait and see situation. So the first week she was in ICU, she was doing well. And I remember it was actually Mother's Day. We were in church with my husband and I saw all these little kids with flowers for their mothers, and I was really sad thinking about my daughter who was still in ICU. So once we finished the service, we went to the hospital to see her, and we remember just sitting outside the ICU waiting to go in. And for those who have been had a patient in ICU, you know how that is. And when you're sitting there and you're waiting and you're different families and you hear the flat line and none of us outside there knows whether it's our patient, and all you can do is keep praying. And there was somebody who flatlined while we were there. And then we got called in to be able to see, after they finished the process with the other patients, we were called in that we were able to see her for a few minutes. And so when we got in, I was just looking at her and it's like she began to choke. it looked like she was choking.
BeatStars.com.
And so all the doctors came in and they rushed in and they told us to wait outside. And later they came back and said that she was actually choking on the ventilator because it's like she was trying to remove it. And so they removed it, and they said that if she was able to survive breathing on her own for 24 hours, then they wouldn't put her back on the ventilator. And as God would have it, she managed to do the 24 hours and she was off the ventilator. And from then,
BeatStars.com.
one step at a time, she would actually just remove each and everything. Any pipe that was on her would come back the next day and find that it was taken out, and the nurse would say, you know, she took it out on her own. And within that week, she was moved to the high dependency unit, and after that into the normal nursery, and then we were able to take her home. So that was my journey and my testimony about Malaika. And
BeatStars.com.
I really thank God, because every day we look at her as a family, we're reminded about the faithfulness of God. And not just looking at her, when I look at my two sons, Didi and Ethan, it's a testament of the goodness and the faithfulness of God. And so in all this, I just want to encourage anybody who's waiting, in the process of waiting. Waiting is not an easy period to be in, but continue to put your trust in God. God knows the plans that He has for you, as the Word of God says in Jeremiah 29:11. He has good plans for you, plans to give you a hope and a future. I didn't know how my future was going to pan out. I didn't know how Malaika's future was going to pan out. But all I could do was surrender it to God. God is the author of life, and He's the author and finisher of our faith. So whatever situation that you are going through right now, God is there with you. He says that He's with you even though you walk through the valley of the shadow of death. When you walk through the flood and through the fire, that He is with you, that He never leaves you and He never forsakes you. God has been my anchor, and I've seen Him come through time and time again, not just in the testimony of Malaika, but in our lives, in our families. And I think that's a testament of faith, and I think she can also attest to it, even in her own faith journey, that she's been able to see the goodness of God. So that's my testimony, and I wish every mother, my mothers, because I have two wonderful mothers, Mom Leah and Mom Gladys. I just want to wish you a happy Mother's Day. I thank you for everything that you have done for us and our family, and the love that you continue to share with us. And we're really grateful for God keeping you here with us, and we continue to decree with long life will He satisfy you and show you His salvation. God bless you.
Merci d'avoir regardé la vidéo. N'oubliez pas de vous abonner, de liker et de commenter et de partager cette vidéo. Et j'espère que ça vous a encouragé, et ça a encouragé les femmes qui veulent avoir des enfants ou qui attendent. J'espère que ça vous a béni. Et n'oubliez pas de me follow sur Instagram et sur TikTok pour plus d'informations. Et à la semaine prochaine.